Michael McDaniel. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, River Rouge, Michigan, actually. Tri-City area. If you watch BMF, you know about my city. Um, you know what I'm saying? I'm old, class of 96, holla, you know. Um, I'm a father of 3 children. I have a little girl who's 4, and I have twin boys who are 2 approaching 3 this May, and it's not easy. So I'm a comedian, actor, stuff like that. Voiceover is my primary. MichaelMcDanielVO.com. Check me out.
Hey, get it.
Follow me on Instagram. I am McDaniel. You know, hey, whatever. But that's about it. The rest we'll figure out.
Oh man, love the intro, man. So I didn't realize you had twin boys. Did I know that?
Yeah. I don't know if you knew
You
that.
said you had
but
a son and a daughter. I didn't realize you had.
No, I got 2 sons. Like I got a son.
Okay.
I thought I was having a child. I had a child.
Oh, you had childs.
Yeah, child.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about the fathering game. How has it been for you, man? How's that experience? Let me cut myself up. How's that experience with twins, man?
Man, you know that thing that everybody's like, man, twins would be amazing. And that'd be great. I think that part happens when they're grown. I don't think people understand what it's like having 2 babies at the same time. If you've ever had one baby, let's say your first baby, that one baby is like, oh my God, your world just, what's going on? How did this happen? Now imagine having 2, what's going on? How did this happen? Laying next to each other. Like one of them wakes up in the middle of the night screaming. And without, hey, the other one, he's gonna get up too, because he's like, hey, my brother's screaming. Oh, we peed. Oh, that's why we cried. We peed. We peed. And it's like, it's different, and boys, they peed. My sons peed a lot. So I didn't sleep for like 3 years because, Abby's 20 months older than them. So she was just getting to the point to where she was sleeping in her own bed without problems and all of that. And then here come these 2 dudes, and she probably stayed in her bed for about a week. But she was like, something going on down there. And I think I need to go get in my parents' bed again. So it was a unique situation, man. It was different, but all in all, man, I could not compare this situation to have two little dudes running around being these, and they're both different. Yeah. And they're 2 totally different personalities, but it's cool, man. It's challenging. It's stressful for a parent having babies, a bunch of babies at one time, but at the same time, like watching them grow, you see the rewards. They know their letters. They can barely talk and know all their letters. That's kind of cool. You know what I mean? So
dope.
It's pretty dope, man.
I like it, man. So obviously, we met up on set of a video shoot here not too long ago, and man, instantly good vibes, good energy, man, good connection. I was like, man, this dude is hilarious. And then to find out that you're a fellow father in the game, in the ring, you got you got a ring, like you hold it down for the dads out there. I was very curious to know, like, kind of what your perspective on fatherhood and parenting is. So one of the things I'm curious to know about is what, for your own self, what have you learned most about yourself since becoming a father?
Man, I was watching Dave Chappelle's special, and he was talking about being a husband and a father. He was talking about how humiliating it is. And for myself, like I was 39 when my daughter was born. Like, these are my first kids. I'm 43, I'll be 44 in 4 weeks, literally 4 weeks from today. So to be this age and have these babies, and it's like I'm an old man, I'm in middle age growing up with my kids because they really showed me how immature I was. Marriage and children showed me how whatever you think you know, throw it all away. Like, cause you don't know anything. Like when you find yourself sparring with a child, like, no, you sit, not you. No, daddy, you sit down and go to bed too after you calm down. Like, and my kids are like that. It's like
they're gonna give it right back to you.
Yeah, and they can't change themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, you got boo on you and you want to fight me right now? You want to kick your leg? I gotta get this off you. It's like, but if you want to keep it on you, then you're like, I can't do that because I'm gonna have to clean it up off of everything else so it just shows you how ridiculous you are. That's what I've learned about myself. It's like, wow, man. And I have to mature and accept them as children. Like, I find myself saying, dude, he's 2.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, dude, he's 2. It's like
that's solid. That's solid, though. You know what's interesting about that statement? Because that's a very solid statement. Like, dude, he's 2. Like, you know, the obvious of it all, right? But realistically speaking, when you're in it with another, essentially, you created it. You caused this. You didn't.
You caused this. You brought this on yourself.
You knew. You knew.
Oh, so Dad, you didn't want me?
Game. Yeah, you knew.
You didn't want me, Dad?
But realistically speaking, you do have to come back as a parent and go, oh man, this is a kid. I need to dial down whatever ego, whatever selfishness, whatever, you know, whatever aspects of yourself that you were used to having as a loner, as a solo act, or even, you know, even with your spouse or, you know, your partner, you got to shut that all down and come and be like, hey, you know what? You know what? I did make this. I should probably learn.
I'm gonna go ahead and suck it up.
Selfless. Yeah.
Make this easy on myself because they're still. He's like, I'm still a baby.
Looking up at you like, what are we doing?
What? Guide me.
Right.
Like you're acting like me right now. It's like,
okay, so that gives a thought. So what do you think if you had to pick out something that is as a positive, as the most positive thing that has come from you being a father, the most rewarding thing that's come from you being a dad, what would you say that is?
Man, I think all of it, everything I just said, even though it sounds crazy, that's all positive. Oh, because it's all a challenge.
Even the poop on you.
Even the poop is like, those are things like people don't realize, like that poop is humbling. You know, like like it's like, how do you think, unless you have a nanny or something like that, like it doesn't matter. Like, you're on TV, you're an actor, you do stuff like look at me on TV. Yeah, come get this doo-doo. You know, it's like you know what I'm saying? It's like, at the end of the day, that does not matter.
Yeah, boy.
It doesn't. It's it is of zero consequence.
Yeah.
Like, that means nothing.
These kids don't care either.
They don't. Like, my daughter literally said, Daddy, I want to watch you on TV. I was so moved. So I went to YouTube and started finding me. But right after that, she had a tantrum. It's like, but I thought,
hey girl, I'm famous. Why you not? Hey,
you know how many kids can't watch their dad on TV? So it's like, there is no room for ego.
Yeah.
Like, marriage and children, there's no room for ego because you know.
Yeah.
That's just that.
It's a humbling thing. There's a selflessness. You gotta put yourself, put yourself in the background and let the ones you love most slide up front and let them take charge, essentially. And it's pretty much figuring out what their needs are and trying your best to come through with it, right?
Absolutely. Like you have to, because you're their example of how life works.
Yeah.
And when you understand that, like it doesn't matter what you say, they need to see what you say.
Ooh, say it.
You know, so those are the greatest lessons, like the things that I saw said, not the things that I heard. You know, so like seeing those things, like, and knowing that I'm responsible for that, that keeps you in check. And at the same time, it at some point, even the mistakes that you make, if you're free, you're gonna have to tell your kids about that because they're gonna cross those bridges. Just like you said, I know what you already know. I heard so many times like, oh, so I ain't never been 12 before. I don't know. Like you hear all that stuff from your parents. You know, but I think the illusion that I think parenting and the lure of parenting, the aura, as Rick James would say, or Charlie Murphy would have said, is that parents are perfect and they know it all. I would rather my lesson to my kids be, here are the mistakes that I made. This is what I learned from those mistakes. So you don't have to make those decisions.
Yeah.
You know, and I did it for you. Now you're free to go off and make your own mistakes now and learn your own lessons now, because you are going to do that. And I don't want you, like so many of us, well, I wish my parents would have taught me this and taught me that. That wasn't, they took us as far as they could take us. I believe the space in between is the grace of God. And those are the personal lessons that we're supposed to learn from God directly. You know, and not from, that wasn't, their job was to make sure I was safe, alive, loved to the best of their ability.
Right.
To the best of their capacity. But ultimately, God made the decision to bring me here.
Yeah.
So I have to go back to the source on the lessons that I didn't learn. You know, and I want that to be there.
Even today, I had a moment where I was like, oh man, you know, for me, I'm tired. Like I'm really tired. I haven't got a good like night's sleep. I'm running on fumes, it feels like. And I was telling my fiance, it's like, I literally have like a pain in my stomach. I don't know if it's like stress or what it is. And every once in a while, my kids will come around and they'll do something that's like, really? I just fed you. I just read to you. I just rubbed your boo-boo. And all I asked you to do was this. And you just sitting here ignoring me. That ego, that thing that you have to really get out of the way in order to be a good parent is so not a fun thing, man. It's so hard. And so to your point, when you say, you know, kind of to the best of their ability, it's a very interesting thing when I think about that, because it's like, obviously everybody's parenting situation is different, and the way that you were parented is different. And so when you hear about someone's the best of their ability, what is something that you feel, a lesson that you got from your parents that has followed you into your parenthood today?
Man, I was kind of thinking about this in a way today, but not necessarily the way I'm about to communicate it now.
Okay.
When I look back at my parents and I think about their age and the things that were going on in their world, and I used to think about what I didn't get from them, lessons that I had to learn on my own, that I wished I had learned at home, all of those things. I learned, and I probably learned this during the pandemic, and to have compassion, I started to look at my parents as individual people, look at their lives, and look at them coming together and what that looks like, trying to, first of all, have a relationship and be okay, survive day-to-day life, and then share these kids. So just looking at all these dynamics, if I looked at them, if I can look at them and have compassion on them and have some empathy for their situation or anybody, period, I have to offer myself that same compassion. I have to offer myself that same grace, because it's not loving. Like, if, let's say for instance, you know, I got this guy I just met. His name is Mitch K. Joseph. He has 3 first names.
Here we go.
He said the K stands for Kevin, but I don't know. But but it's still 3 first names. But anyway, if he comes to me and he says, "Hey man, I really messed up. I know better than this, but I didn't do what I felt was right as far as long term. Hey man, I made a mistake." As his friend, I'm gonna say, "Hey man, you're right. You just made a mistake. That does not define you. That's not who you are. That's something that happened. It's in the past. Let's move forward. Let's focus on your character, and let's do everything we can to keep you from feeling like you're that person. You know, let me, you know, I got your back. You know, like, if you feel like you're about to make a mistake, call your brother. Let's talk through it. Let's laugh through it. Let's do whatever. But let's make sure that we're good. I'm gonna take on that burden." Why don't we do that for ourselves? You know, why don't we forgive everybody else? We've come up with excuses as to why. Well, they're probably like this because of that. You know, we do all of that for other people, but we do not do it for ourselves. And I think that's as a parent, dude, no, every kid, how many children do you have?
3.
You have 3 too. Okay. They're all different people. There is no way that you know how to master being a parent to all 3 of those people, because you got to be 3 different daddies.
Oh my gosh. Preach.
You see, you have to. You have. How is that even humanly possible? Like, so there has to be the mistakes that you're going to make, the things that you're going to misread, the misconceptions, all of that. You're going to have those moments. So it's like, if you don't offer yourself that grace, I apologize to my kids all the time. They're little and they don't understand, but they do understand, because I'm teaching them that even me, I'm flawed. I make big mistakes too. And I accuse you of doing something that one did. And daddy's sorry for that. And I should not have said that. I should not have got upset. That was wrong of me. I love you. Come here. You know, but even when I discipline them, it's still, I love you. Come here. You're in trouble. But I love you. You know I love you. You know, so it's, I have to learn that.
That's amazing, because here's the thing. You point out so many good things in that statement there just now. First of all, talk about forgiving yourself, like giving yourself as a parent some grace, because we can beat ourselves up. I don't know about, like, obviously I can't speak for all parents, but I know there are several instances in any given day where I go and I'll tell my spouse, is like, or my fiance is like, babe, I don't know if I think I went a little too hard. I think, and granted, some of the times, honestly, it'll be something like, no, we can't read a book tonight. I'm like, oh damn, should I just let them read the book? Like, you know what I'm saying? And then I leave that experience questioning myself, questioning, like, was that a bad parenting move? Is that going to be one of those things that sticks with them when they're 20 and 30 years old? They're going to be thinking back on that. Like, honestly, I mean, really, I tear myself down on these. So it's really good to hear you say it, because it means that, you know, for the most part, I'm not the only one thinking like, yo, every once in a while, you got to chill out and realize that the human is human. And what we all have in common is that we all make mistakes.
Period.
At the end of the day.
Yeah. Period. You got, man. I took my boys, they both had books in their hand for whatever reason when they were going to sleep. I took the books out of their hand and put them under the bed and said, go to bed. I had to, because I had to get here.
Dream killer.
You know, but last night we sat around and we read books.
Yeah.
So it was like, it's not, their memory is short.
Yeah.
They're not going to remember the books you didn't read. They're going to remember when you did read them. You know, because I don't remember the times my daddy told me no.
Oh,
I remember the times he told me, yeah. Those are, you know what I'm saying? Especially, those are my memories. I didn't feel denied love. Like when he said no, it was just no, you know, but I'm not walking around carrying that.
Right.
You know, maybe if you got a special kid, it just feels like, you know, this ultra negative.
So to the point though, they're so different. How do you know that you don't have one of them in the bunch?
But
right?
you also but you also have to know that it's impossible to say yes to everything, and it's unrealistic.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. There's a certain level of. And I struggle with this because to the point earlier, I've got 3 different personalities, and I mean different. And one of my daughters is very sensitive, very sensitive. She'll cry like that, like super sensitive. And with her, I struggle because her thing is, as much as she's sensitive and I know she'll cry, she has moments of what we found to be manipulation. Like this, I'm not crying because I'm hurt or because my feelings hurt. I'm crying because I want to control this situation, and I know that I'm gonna shut everything down if I start crying.
Yeah.
And so to maneuver that has been very tricky because for me it comes like, okay, what is this cry exactly?
Yeah.
Is this the cry that goes, I'm really hurt, please come hug me and make me feel better? Or is this like, oh, I can't have candy? Everybody's shutting it down right now. Watch
the whole
this.
House down.
Woo-hoo-hoo. You know what I'm saying? Like that has been very tricky. So it's tough, man. It's tough to know.
Man, you know what's funny? Like within the last couple hours, I shut down a situation like that. Like my son, it was like they love Jiffy cornbread. So it was one piece left, and it was for my wife. It was the last piece, and that was for her meal. So he saw it, and he saw that it was there. And my son, Nolan, when he wakes up, the first thing out of his mouth is, I want to eat. Like he's a tank, and I want to eat, Daddy. I want to eat. I want to eat. And they keep repeating stuff. But anyway, so he sees his cornbread. So I know how he is about food. He's very passionate. And he starts to
I love the word.
He's very passionate. And he nuts up because, and she's like, well, I'll just give him half of it. And I said, no, you will give him none of it. Yeah. Because we will not reward this behavior because we're teaching him. We're teaching him manipulation. I see it. I watch my daughter do it. I will not allow. You know what I mean? Like, and even with her, I was like, okay, well, when you have an outburst like that, just because you can't have something, to me, that means you need a timeout. You know, that means that you're tired, you're frustrated, you need a moment to yourself to collect yourself. So let's just go to the room and take a moment, take a time out. And sometimes she'll go in there and pitch a fit, and sometimes she'll sit in there and just get quiet and then just come back out.
Yeah.
But
do what you needed.
Yeah, but I'm afraid because of this culture that doesn't have any empathy.
Yeah.
And they think that it's entitled generation. I don't want my kids. Like that's my greatest fear. Is to raise entitled children who look at the world as a place to take and not an opportunity to give, share, and grow. You know, that scares me. You know, that scares me.
I'm curious because that's kind of obviously that's a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
in that we live in a world where you have to acquire a certain level of skills or a certain group of skills in order to sometimes survive obviously depending on location, but in order to strive though, like in a world of, you know, realistically speaking, man, the internet's making everybody soft. The like things is just changing, and so the world is changing to the point where you need a new set of skills to maneuver in it, right? And one of the, I think personally, one of the skills that you need to have in the world of social media is tough skin and self-awareness. I should say 2 skills. It's tough skin and self-awareness, because in order to survive an insult, you need a certain level of skin on you. But then also to not have that plague you for the rest of the day, you need a certain level of self-awareness in order to push through that and be like, so, you know what I mean? As a grown man in my 30s, I still have moments where I bite the bait. I've had comments, random things that'll pop up, and it won't be anything like heavy. It's not like, you know, oh, your mama. It's not even anything heavy. It's like, wow, you wore that shirt? What's wrong with this shirt? Huh? Everybody likes salmon. You know what I mean? Like just things that you really so my biggest fear is that my kids are not gonna have the stick-to-itiveness, the toughness required to take really just a comment. It's not even necessarily an insult, even if it is. It's just to take a comment and keep rolling with it, and not have that be the thing that dictates the rest of their day.
Man, that is very tough, and you never lied on that. Like I don't have the answer, Sway, but
you ain't got the answers, man.
You ain't got the answer, Sway.
It ain't no Ralph though.
It ain't no Ralph though. I was thinking the same thing, but I think we were talking about elements of emotional intelligence.
Yeah,
we're talking about a whole different skill set.
Yeah,
you know, the capacity to navigate and to sense and feel, and self-awareness. We're talking about emotional intelligence, not to take somebody that doesn't matter, take their opinion or their emotional outburst personally and make it our emotional breakdown.
Right.
You know, that is tough to do.
Right.
You know, without proper or strong identity. You know, and I think that's more difficult to cultivate than anything with social media.
Brother.
And
no, stop right there. We need to stop. You just out here spitting gems out in the streets. Listen to me. No. That is a great point. That is a great point. Oh, in order to the ability to cultivate that is, I think, as a parent, mom, dad, everybody, I think that's who has the formula on that. Like,
hey man, I don't think there is one, except the best that we can do is be ourselves and become ourselves and accept our kids in a way, as long as they're not, as long as it's not something that's injurious to their future.
Right.
You know, accept them for who they're becoming. You know, make sure that the love is unconditional.
Yeah.
Make sure that when their flaws show, that our love stays the same. That doesn't mean we don't correct the bad behavior or the outlandishness that we're gonna see. It's coming, you know, but it means that the love is consistent. You know, it means that I'm not pushing you out. And I think because I've seen people, I know people that on the surface, it seem like they're pretty cool people. You love to be around them, they're a lot of fun. But, you know, if you get close to them, you know, they take that mask off and you catch hell.
Yeah.
You know, because
go ahead, say you talking about me. What
talk about you? What?
No, go say it. You wanna suggest to it. Go on, say it then. Say how you feel.
So am I? I'm gonna go, Dr. Phil. Did I press a button here? I mean, is there something going on that we need to discuss? Because we've never had this conversation.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Apparently,
No,
we've struck a nerve. No, but they are performance based.
Yeah.
Love to certain people is based on performance. Like love is earned. And with our kids, they shouldn't have to earn our love. They shouldn't have to earn our approval. And we have to make sure that they understand that they're not earning our love. You just have it. And I think that safety provides a confidence that, oh man, I'm good. He corrects me when I'm wrong.
Wow.
But he holds me and embraces me exactly the same, whether I'm wrong or right. I think that is the consistency that creates an identity. Like if you feel loved and supported, you could become and do anything with the proper love and support. That's nurture, but if it's inconsistent and you find you're always trying to figure it out as a kid, you're gonna grow up as an adult always trying to figure it out, and that's uncomfortable. Then you start looking for love. Now I'm talking about myself now. Then you start trying to earn love in relationships, through career, and all these other things. And you're like, oh, you love me? You love me now? It's like, bro, I did all this and I did all that. Shouldn't you love me? I don't want my children, as long as I'm breathing, to have to feel like that's necessary for them to be okay.
Man, look, you are yo, bro. That's great. That is great. I have never had it put that way. So thank you for that, man. I talked about it in the beginning. Like I kind of started this whole thing because obviously I wanted to have just a general pool of information, but also selfishly, just some gems for me in this dad game, bro. That right there, oh my gosh, that makes it so clear in so many levels. So that is, realistically speaking, I mean, I know we said that there isn't a formula, but that is the formula. You solved it.
Well, I hope so. We'll try it out.
Seriously though, that's amazing, bro. Because realistically speaking, but even the way you said it though, to feel like they don't have to earn it, our love, to know that we are consistently there. We will course correct. We will step in. You're not just going to eat this whole thing of ice cream before dinner. We will step in and course correct. But realistically speaking, this is not your internship. You don't have to earn this job here. You already have the job. Exactly. Understand this, but we want to push you up to CEO level, and this is how we're going to do it. That's, man, bro, look, you're spitting gems right now, man. That's amazing. That's amazing, because I think most dads, most parents will run into the situation where they go, I feel like I'm doing everything in my power to give my kid every opportunity, but I still run into instances and moments where they are and typically in older, when they get to the teenage and all that stuff, we all know, you've been there. As a teenager, you start to smell yourself a little bit, and you talking back,
it's a wrap.
You have an attitude, and it's all about the brand.
Pure rebellion.
And so to get to that point, I wonder though, how much of that is a kid going out to earn the love elsewhere?
Wow.
Like you just brought that to me though. Like if you give a child an environment in which they feel like, okay, I am loved unconditionally, but also there's a certain level of, what's the word I'm looking for? Structure, where yes, absolutely, you're loved, but also we have structure. There is, and then you try your best to snuff out the in between, which is the, okay, was I disciplined because I didn't do it right? And then does that translate into you don't love me, so now I have to earn it. Like it. Man, look, I'm gonna stop this. I just opened up my own multiverse. I'm gonna leave that part. I'm gonna just leave that part alone, because
man, is I discovered this in my own relationships with people. People perceive that you don't love them because you told them no. And when you realize that people actually think that way, that yes is the only way to love me, and no means you're my enemy, do you want that type of relationship with your kids? Do you want your kids to think like that? It's like they go and apply for a job or they try out for a team and they don't make it. And they're like, oh, I'm gonna jump off a building. Like that is, or I'm gonna kill a coach for not choosing me. Like you don't, that's not how life works. Right. Life is a series of yeses and nos. And then sometimes it's a whole bunch of nos. Auditioning taught me that.
I was gonna say, I know you know that.
Yeah.
Anybody in the game knows that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're great. They give you the big smile. And then when you first start out, you get like, oh, I'm good. And then you leave. And then I remember I was calling the agency. Like, so they said I was good, like that. How's it going? They think they're gonna peak.
Oh my God.
I thought about that and I cracked up.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you were so green. You had no idea. Like, you just wanted your first couple gigs. You was like, hey man, let's get this going.
Look.
That was immature. That was my immaturity.
Yeah.
So imagine if I stayed like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so your kid experiencing life, which is a series, like it's gonna be yes, it's gonna be no.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's no to me.
Yeah.
If I could teach you, like, okay, well, that means look elsewhere. Let's move on. Let's find the next thing.
Right.
That's not the one. Let's go through that one and get to the one. Like, if we could teach that without browbeating our kids, but lovingly guiding them to the next level, like you did yourself when you wanted to give up however long ago, when it was like, man, nothing's happening. And then it's like, oh, okay. Then you had those seasons when the rain just comes.
Man, look,
like I can't go wrong. You didn't have to audition. Yeah, I didn't got to audition. They called me. It's like when you start having those moments, that's what life is like. It's seasonal.
Yeah.
You can't go to the beach in the winter. You live in Grand Rapids, there's plenty of water over there. But it's not.
Right.
In February.
Right.
Go to Lake Michigan if you want to.
Right. Walk over to the frozen waves. Right.
Yeah, there you go. Enjoy yourself.
Nah.
No. Lake effect.
Right.
Blizzard.
But that's a solid point, though. And I think that when you really think about the full scope of it, right? We want to raise, realistically speaking, we want to raise good humans. We don't necessarily want to raise great kids because,
it's a very short period.
Education of knowledge that as a kid you don't, obviously you don't have. So your choices, your decisions, your everything is based off of that limited knowledge. And so what we want to provide is just a level of information, a level of nurturing, love, care, and understanding, but an equal level of discipline and structure to ensure that as your kids grow and develop, they understand that yes, we are loved, we're cared for, but we didn't hear yes all the time, because we also need to understand that the world, mommy and daddy love you. The world
don't care. They don't care anything about you. You are dispensable.
Look, easily.
You are one of Kim Kardashian's husbands to the world. Next. Let's get on.
You're wrong. You know you're wrong. Don't talk about Kanye like that.
I think he thought that he was gonna be different. Pete, better watch yourself. Like he out here threatening a comedian.
Oh my gosh.
He's taking it to the street.
Look, no, he's not.
You know, we don't want to raise a series of Kanyes in that regard. That's our goal with our children. We don't want Kanyes and Kims.
That's hilarious, but true at the same time. Now, something interesting about that statement though, because here's one thing, and this is where I say the internet, social media, it all makes that a little tricky. We don't want Kanye's and Kim's. Mm-hmm. However, for the most part, when the world as a whole looks at success, they value success for the most part based on your revenue stream, your income, your assets.
Yeah. Kim
and Kanye are multimillionaires.
That's the problem.
So how do we navigate in a world where,
I'm sorry,
speaking,
billionaires?
I stand corrected. Yeah, billion. Kim. But
Kanye
how do we? Kanye's a billionaire.
6 billion. He's worth $6 billion.
Oh, I didn't even know that. So there you go.
It's crazy.
So with that in mind, how do you go? Nah, you don't want to grow up to be like them. You mean I don't want to grow up to be a billionaire, Dad? Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, no. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you now navigate that?
That's not you tell them that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't have $1 billion. I'm saying let's find somebody else with $1 billion. Like, look at what they're doing to get that. Let's talk about how we discovered Kim Kardashian. What was her start?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
but it was easy for her. It was easy for her, Dad.
Yeah, because she had sex tape and she made more money off it than Ray J did.
It was easy for her. Why would I want to take the easy road to my billions?
Because you won't have peace. Oh. She has all of that stuff, but she's not happy.
Ooh.
She's not happy. Like, she's a slave to public opinion. Do you really want to be a slave? Do you really want to worry about not being able to say what you want to say and be who you want to be? That's the difference between her and Kanye. Solid. Kanye does not care. He's a master manipulator. Like he does not care what he says.
Right.
Kim absolutely cares. You know, so it's you know, Kanye's brand is based on him being whoever he's going to be and say whatever he's going to say, however he's going to say it.
On any given
Kim Kardashian started because of a sex tape, but now she can't say what she wants to say.
Right.
But she can parade around with dude after dude, and that's acceptable. And we have to ask our kids, like, who do you want to clap for you? Do you want to be able to look yourself in the mirror? You're stuck with you. We live in cancel culture. You know that, right? Anything that I say on here, at some point, if I'm offered a deal, they're going to go back and watch this. I'm like, hey, you said that Kim was, and Kim could be writing the check.
Yeah, boy.
You see what I'm saying? Like, this could happen.
I know, 100%.
So it's like, hey, man, you better delete that. I need to get this money. You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I going to do? Like, I've learned, one thing that I've learned is that I have to be able to look at myself in the mirror. Like, I have to, I'm stuck with me.
Yeah.
You're not. You could be like, he's canceled. Like, you could do that at any given time.
Right.
I want my kids to be able to look themselves in the mirror and be okay with themselves.
So funny you say that, because, you know, in terms of cancel culture and what that whole thing means, that essentially puts you as an individual into the slave category. You are restricted. Your, you know, quote unquote freedom of speech is restricted because essentially you're a slave of public opinion. When you stop and think of the world and how your kids come into it, because right now, you know, you got the internet, you got social media, you got driving cars. Think about that projection of that. So we're in 22. In 2008, Blackberries was still hot.
We didn't even have iPhones. Did iPhones come out?
No, iPhones was out, but Blackberries were still hot.
I had a Blackberry for sure.
So think about that.
Yeah.
Think about that gap. Was that a 14-year gap? And that's just 14 years. So you think about your youngest. How old are you the boys?
They'll be 16, turning 17.
Huh?
In 14 years from now, they'll be
right.
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 I was like, you said
like, hey, sir.
I was projected.
Okay, fair enough.
My bad. I was a step ahead.
You definitely called me off guard. Wait. He says
my kid's grown. What this whole time? I was lying about having kids.
He's been making it up this whole time. He don't even got kids. He's just trying to promote his brand. You're on this dad podcast. With no, you got to promote how you promote. Oh my gosh!
No such thing as bad publicity. That's what you teach your kids. You get that attention no matter what.
Oh my gosh! Yo,
that's terrible.
No, man, but for real, oh, you think about that. Like that wasn't that long ago.
No, it wasn't.
And now here we are. If you project future-wise, what they're going to be walking into is going to be totally different when they get to that age. So at this point in time, we're teaching them how to live and how to move in a room full of vultures for this decade. But with technology advancing, with the way things work, the next decade going to be so different.
It is, but character won't. Character will always be the thing that's important, no matter what era you're in.
My man.
Like character is still, that's the one consistent thing. Human nature and the character of that person is going to matter no matter what era we're in. It's going to matter. You know what I mean? So it's like, let's take Martin Luther King, and let's say he was a present day person with all the stuff that went on in 2020 and all of that. And let's say he still protested the nonviolent, thing, nonviolent, though we did have, that would still be honored and respected. You know what I mean? Yeah. Malcolm X's response still would too, because it was based on knowledge and information. It's like, no, we're just not going to be pushed over. But it's the character of the person that we admire the most. You know what I mean? It's what they stood for and why. Yeah. So when our kids, even us, when we get in certain situations, it's certain gigs that they will offer you that you wouldn't take.
Man, look, there's been.
Have you been there?
So many.
Yeah, it's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Many. The script said what? You want me to read what? No, I'm not there yet. I'm not.
No, I'm cool.
I'm not there in my career. I'm not trying to explore those yet. No. Yeah, that ain't for me.
I'm cool. Like it was a very popular series that was out a few years ago. It just went off. Had Terrence Howard, Mike. I'll just say that, Mike. And then one of the characters was I think D-Ray Davis ended up playing the character.
Okay, yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah, but when I was supposed to go to Chicago. They had it all set up, and I was torn up. I was like, because the script read, he's standing in the kitchen with no shirt on, cooking some weird meat thing, discussing with Cookie how to kill like a hit and take. I was like, no, I already did that. I don't want to do that. Yeah. And it's like, I just couldn't go. I was set. Everything's paid for. All I have to do is show up, meet the casting director, and Shazam. I didn't go.
Man.
I didn't go. It was like, that could that have been my big break? Probably not. But maybe. Who knows?
You never know.
That's a shot I wasn't willing to take, because the next one was like, all right, we want you to come in naked. and then we want you to jump on the table and say, I kill everybody. I want you to just that. It's like, how far are you willing to go? You know, so the character that we portray for our kids, not that you got to be me, but you have to be able to live with you long term.
You know, it's interesting you say that. So I dance. Been dancing since forever, realistically speaking. And I have a lot of like dance videos and stuff like that from classes or just concept videos that I do online. And the other day, my girls was downstairs, and I heard him. Oh, that's Daddy. I was like, oh, okay. And I'm listening. You know, I'm upstairs. I'm listening, and they, you know, they oh, look at that dancing. And I bring that up because it was when my first daughter was born. I went in on YouTube and deleted any video, to the best of my knowledge. I may have missed one or two, but any video that had profanity, any choreography that I've done that has profanity in it, I took it off. And then the other day, when I heard them watching my videos, I was like, oh, that's why.
That's why.
And this is 7 years later.
Man, that's crazy, because when I started doing stand-up comedy, of course, that was 2007. I had no kids, but my youngest brother was 11. And he was like my son. So I said, I'm not going to say anything on stage that he can't hear me say and repeat in school, and he won't get in trouble, and he'll get in trouble for it. So I didn't swear, I didn't do any of that stuff on stage. I'm like, and I lived by that. So all my performances, I'm known as I'm edgy, but I'm clean.
Right.
Like some stuff you can't say. Right. Because but it's not dirty to the point to where it's like he might get into like, hey, don't do Dave, what you talking about? Right. That might happen. But that was the reason for it. So now I have kids of my own who like hanging on my every little thing. And like everything I do is something. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm grateful. They're gonna find some stuff and they're gonna learn some mistakes they're doing. Well, yeah. It's inevitable.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I took off all the videos with it. But
I could get. But what about the videos that somebody else posted?
I mean, you know,
I can't take those down.
You know?
Yeah, but we do things that we do for what's next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For you to acknowledge that and catch that, and for you to have that innate thing, like you were protecting your child, you were keeping your child's innocence. You were protecting them from the flaws in you. He's like, you don't need to experience that right now. It's like, dude, that is amazing. First of all, like to just have the mind. You know what I mean? People like, dude, you see videos on social media when the kids are just like, people are posting their kids acting like, just give them a gun and a 40. You know, and just go for it. It's anything for attention. And when you display to your kids, you don't do just anything for attention.
Look,
that's character. That's what's going to matter when the opportunity of a lifetime is on the table. Like, you don't compromise yourself. You don't compromise your values. Look, you don't compromise your soul.
No, there are many instances in which the opportunity of a lifetime will come. It'll come tenfold, and it'll have so many little strings on the back of that mug.
It's loaded. It's a rat trap.
Yeah. Yeah. So to have that wherewithal, to have that mental toughness, and realistically, to your point earlier, just to have that knowledge of self is what's going to make the difference.
The reason I can see that now, because I observe people. Like, that is something that I struggle with for years. And even times right now, I still struggle with. Here I am, 44 years old, and still challenged with my identity. because now it's actually different because midlife is real.
Yeah.
You'll know when you get up here. It's like you start looking, you on your way. You start looking at your life.
I got a good old, I got an 88, but you know, she been on the track, so so the tire's a little worn out. It's good. It's good. I got an 88, but she run like a 64.
She run like a 64. Yeah. But it's something that happens inside you, like chemically and emotionally too. It's like you start looking at life different.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it's I don't even know why I brought that up because I'm too busy laughing at what you said. But
no, but that's a solid point though.
Yeah, but what I want to say to you before I forget, this is something I have to say, to take the initiative to talk to fathers, you know, and parents, and to, like, I'm learning more about what I think and like, wow, that's how I think from you asking me the question, for you to take a platform like, because we know what we could do. We could be stupid and get famous. We know how to do that, but
easily.
You're taking the time to create some substance for us to grow on so that 20 years from now, when we're dinosaurs, they'll be looking at what we're saying and saying this is still true today.
Yeah. Ooh, say it.
It's a deposit. So it's like, I applaud you, man, for even like thinking to do this, like even being conscious of your decision making and how it affects your kids. Like people don't think like that anymore.
Man, well, you know what's interesting though? The more dads I interview, the more I do this, I find that not always, but majority of the people I talk to are very like-minded.
Yeah, that's good.
And I don't know if that's just well, actually, it ain't just a general parenting thing, but I find that the majority of the people that I have spoken with, at least, are very like-minded in that sense, where they're not just thinking of, I'm a person on this planet and I got kids. They're thinking of, how are my decisions, how is my interaction with my children affecting the people they're going to become in the future? And that gives me a whole lot of hope that it ain't just going to be my kids walking the straight and narrow. They're going to have friends and not just a bunch of people trying to get all the views online. Like, man.
That's going to help them not feel crazy.
Yeah.
You know, if this, and you know, you're doing your part, man, to make sure that there's some normalcy. We're responsible for the influence we offer our children. We're not responsible for the choices they make beyond our influence, because they have a perspective.
Yeah.
We might have to bear the brunt of it.
Yeah.
But they're still individual people.
Yeah.
That we can't possibly begin to explain. When you think about what people really are, as far as like, dude, we could have grown up in the same exact house with the same exact parents and saw the same exact things. When we talk about it, we're going to talk about it probably in two different ways, and you're going to see it in a way that I couldn't have possibly saw it. And I'm going to be like, what? That's how that made you feel? Like, that's what you got out of that? Like, that's just the amazing thing about humans, which is why they try to control us all and make us act the same and just be the same and fit in, because it's safer.
Man, that's a solid point. That's a solid point. Like, just the statement of perspective, essentially. That's a solid point, because at the end of the day, you're right. I mean, I can tell you, I love you. That's not necessarily how you're going to hear it.
Or experience it.
Yeah. So that's, oh man. So to that point, sharing with, as with parents, I guess would be a great point to be, hey, you give the love and you give the attention. You're not going to dictate how that's interpreted or how it's regurgitated.
You're not.
All right.
You're
All right.
not.
I got one more question I want to ask you.
Yes, sir.
And this question is your all-encompassing knowledge and experience.
my whole 4 years.
Your whole 4 years.
Oh, 4 years.
As a dad today, you're looking back and you're talking, you hopped in the time machine and you met up with Mike 5 years ago. So you know what's coming. What advice are you giving to Mike? Yep. Yeah.
Dude, I'm afraid to answer that because I've thought about this. And this is a transparent moment.
Okay.
And this is tough to say, but I have to say this in order to adequately answer that question.
Appreciate it.
Man, boy.
I know.
You Mitch.
I know.
Boy. Mitch, you boy. Anyway, so at this point in time, me and my children's mother are going through a divorce that's nearly final. We met and married we married almost exactly 5 years ago. So my desire to never not be in the same house with my children and my family 24/7 for the sake of my children. If I could have saw that coming, I would have avoided it because I wouldn't have wanted them to be in that situation. Here's the other side. I don't know fully who they are. And no matter what, that marriage brought them here and they were destined to be here.
Yeah.
Because 5 years ago, they didn't exist.
Yeah. They
did not exist. But now these amazing human beings are here. So I would do it differently. I personally, Michael, I wouldn't do it because I wouldn't want them to be in that type of home. I wouldn't want them to be in that type of situation.
You know what? Let me return some vulnerability with some vulnerability for you. So I'm actually divorced. I've divorced about 2 years now, 2.5 years, going on 3.
Okay.
And my daughters were experiencing a lot of arguing, a lot of fighting. Near the end of my ex-wife and I's marriage, a lot of it. And I am now engaged, about to be married in July. And
congratulations,
fiance, thanks, man. My fiance and I now are, I don't know how else to say it except for just perfect for each other. And obviously as somebody who came out of a divorce, I've vetted the snot out of this one. First of all, I wasn't going to do it. I ain't going to do it again. I'm not going to fool me once. I ain't going to do it again. But meeting my fiance definitely brought perspective to me and allowed me the peace of mind to go, okay, yeah, this makes sense to me, right? Knowing what I know and how these can go, I'm going to do it again. So this is, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't doing it again. So
last one.
Knowing that my oldest daughter, she didn't say it to me. She actually said it to my fiance. But I just happened to overhear it. And she said it very simple. She goes, boy, you and daddy never fight. You guys are always so happy.
Wow.
To hear that come from my oldest daughter, first of all, it brought up an emotion in me because I was like, oh, you did hear it all.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know you heard it, but I thought you were too young to retain it.
No,
it was affecting you.
Yeah.
So that brought up an emotion in me. But then to hear the response now, unprompted, unsolicited, this isn't like we talking about happiness and joy and then she comes in and chimes in her piece. This is out the blue. And she goes up to my fiance, wow, you and daddy just never fight. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess essentially all of that to say, it gets better.
It gets better.
Thank
you, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you. It was affecting, like, you know, my daughter's very, I don't know, man. She has a sixth sense. She was born what they call NCOL. So she was born in the sack, and then my wife's water never broke. So when I took her out, she was still in the bubble.
Oh, wow.
And I just handed her to the midwife. I didn't know it was a thing. Only 1 in 80,000 children are born that way. Oh. And they say they're born with special powers. They're born behind the veil. There's all this weird stuff. Yeah, I made an X-Men. My daughter's a mutant.
You got an Avenger.
I got an Avenger. But it was funny, like when she was a baby, man, like barely, she wasn't talking or anything. She might have been walking.
Yeah.
Maybe. Like when me and my wife would be into a heated exchange, I would notice she would come and stand in the middle of it and try to make us laugh. So that turned into, over this past, toward the end of the summer, us like just having heated exchanges, not, you know, it's like, stop fighting, don't fight, stop fighting. And that broke my heart. That's when I said, okay, this has to, like, ain't no sticking it out.
Yeah.
I can't have my baby, like, refereeing this and being, you know what I mean? Like, that was, that's when it's like, all right, you got to do something different. So to hear you say that and to share your transparent moment, and I appreciate that, because like the timing of it is like, I need to hear that like right now. I'm, you know.
Absolutely. Kids recover strong, man. I mean, there is gonna be a window of time where, you know, I wish you and mom were back together. It's just how it's gonna be. Can you come over? Can she come over? That's gonna be a thing. But it gets better. It gets better. And if I'm going even deeper and further into the situation, you know, it just gets better. You know, my ex-wife is remarried now. I'm getting married in a few months. My fiance, you know, she has a daughter, and you know, my third daughter now, and her situation, you know, me and her father have a great relationship, and everything is amicable. Everybody is peaceful. Everybody's playing their role, making sure these kids have what they need. It has become something that, in my, realistically speaking, one of my lowest moments of just like bawling, sobbing, and really, you know, punishing myself and thinking, oh my God, this is going to be the thing that ruins my kids, as a divorce and ... to now have to be where I am and have the insight. I would just say, you know, pushing through and knowing that it's gonna get better. It just is. Man. It is. Could have never seen it. Didn't see it in the moment. All I saw was pain in the moment, sadness in the moment. But it absolutely gets better.
Man, thank you for that. Thank you.
Sure.
And thanks for having me on, man.
Man, thanks for coming on, man.
Like, man, like, I was like, I want this guy around. Like, he's all right.
Man, we gonna link again, man. We need to go grab a drink is what we need. Do you drink?
I got some ginger beer with some blueberry lemonade.
That's not what I.
I'm not a drinker, but I will have a drink.
See, when I said it,
yeah, I know what you meant, but I just, man, first of all, I said, do you drink? And he said, no. That's what your inner mind is saying right now?
I'm not Kevin Hart.
You're not.
No, man. But yeah, we need to link, man. You know, you got good energy, bro. You're real good people. I mean, I figured that out in just a few minutes of hanging out with you. So I definitely appreciate you coming on and sharing your experiences. And you've dropped so many good gems, man. I'm not even playing around. Like, you said so many things that just brought so much perspective just to me personally. I know there's no way that all the dads that listen to this aren't gonna get something out of this. It's
That's a blessing,
good
man.
stuff, bro. For real, for real.
Thank you, man. I'm honored. Really, truly, thank you.
Absolutely, dog.
Thank
Well,
you.
I'm gonna let you get back to your evening, brother. Get you
All
get
right,
back
man.
to
All right, man.
I'm gonna go call
I'm
in.
old, man. I'm old. I'm just gonna go to bed now. So. There ain't no evening. It's approaching midnight.
It's the way you said it now. I'm just going to bed now.
It's pretty much over.
Oh my gosh.
Put a bow on this. I'm done.
Oh gosh. All right, old man. Well, we're gonna link up soon, brother. For real, for real.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Look forward to it, bro.
All right, appreciate you. Have a good night, all right?
Peace. You too, bro. All right.
Dad did that.